Oh, let me do this real quick. Ha ha! Psych! Adelia not on the show, guys. Starting 11 live Tuesday night here, talking about match week 27 in the Premier League. Like I said, here by myself. You lucky devils get to listen to these dulcet tones. You know, if you're watching on YouTube, get to look at this lovely and charming face. Now, we'll talk about, again, match week 27, but to talk about match week 27, we got to talk about, what is it, match week 31. Because Arsenal, for some reason, has decided to play for a championship. Now it's the League Cup. You know, so maybe there's some kids out there somewhere who go to sleep at night dreaming of the day that they're going to win, what is it now called, the Carabao Cup. But, still a cup's a cup. Trophies are trophies, and Arsenal, maybe it's time they win another one here, but they're going to be in tough with City. City's game in hand will happen a little later on, or the game that they have in hand is going to be played out in a match week coming up soon. But Arsenal taking on Wolves, the bottom feeders of the league, break out to a 2-0 lead, and blew it. Some would say bottle it. A 92nd minute own goal to seal it, and that you can't really put too much blame on. I believe it's on Calafiore. I believe that's who was credited with it, but he was just in the way of the net when the ball got kicked off him. So can't blame him much for that. Arsenal faltering at just the wrong time. This is a time where every point count. Their league record from the beginning of January, not fantastic. Considering they're fighting with Wolves and just 2 draws, I believe, for Arsenal against Wolves. No, sorry, they won the last one, but they needed 2 goals by Arsenal players. It's crazy. Now, let's move on from there. They dropped the points. Nothing they can do about that. They got to get back on their horses. You know what I mean? Go after the North London derby here. Over at the Centre for Disease Advancement in North London, home of the Spuds. Now, turns out they may have only signed Eberechi for one reason, to kick the crap out of Spurs. And I guarantee you, if you talk to 9 or 10 Arsenal fans, they said if the only reason we signed Eberechi was that he'd score 5 goals against Spurs a year or every season, they'd be fine with it. Nothing else all year? No, not really. Bench player. But if he can get, 5, a hat trick and then a brace in the 2 matches against Spurs, they'd be, give him all my money. In fact, you can also have it at my house. That's where Eberechi, he can now afford a house. I'm sure he's doing quite well. I'm sure he's a well-paid gentleman. But, Arsenal fans hate themselves a spud. That's for sure. So, it's him that gets the ball rolling for Arsenal. Colomwani is going to tie it up. Was it less than 2 minutes later? His first Premier League goal for Mr. Colomwani. It's leveled now through halftime. Victor Gyökeres is then going to regain the lead just on the other side of the half. 47th minute. A little controversy here. Colomwani looks like he's leveled the game again. Again, 3 minutes afterwards, 4 minutes. I believe this is the 51st minute that this happens. Goals called off. They're saying, if you pushed Gabriel to gain some leverage on the play, so can't score that. Here's the deal. All Moani did was have his arm out first. Gabriel backs into him, and then maybe the most atrocious dive I've seen since that time was it Ronaldo got that ball in the shins and they drop to the ground holding his face. Terrible. Awful. These guys are running like Gabriel is a top class defender. I don't think anybody disputes that at all. To go for that. The dark arts with that. And Spurs. Ridiculous. Peter Banks, too. An awful game. Throughout. This is a larger moment of that because at 2-2, the game is maybe much more different than as it's going to be in a couple of minutes because Eze is going to score again. Gyökeres is going to get one late to make it a 4-1 final. But at 2-2, who knows what could happen? I still would imagine Arsenal be able to beat Spurs, who are in an absolute free fall. Spurs now, I believe, are just 4 points safe from relegation. There is 11 matches to play. Has West Ham looked better than Spurs in the new calendar year? I'll say this. I think everybody has. Everybody's looked better than Spurs. Spurs look like they probably are the worst team in the league. Well, aside from Wolves. You know what I mean? Even Wolves have looked better the calendar year. You just have to consider. You put everything into perspective with Wolves. And yeah, Spurs look better. Or Spurs look way worse. Even Wolves do. Terrible. Terrible seeing Conor Gallagher wearing that shirt. It's not great seeing Declan Rice wearing the Arsenal shirt, but Rice is more of just a Chelsea kid before moving abroad. Conor Gallagher was one of our own. Wearing that kit. Wearing lily white. Reprehensible. Okay. Arsenal needed a win. They got it. And, they sweep another North London derby series here. So good for them. They're going to be in a tight race with City throughout the rest of the season. I believe the two of them end up playing in April or something like that. They end up playing like Arsenal's got a big match coming up right away. But we'll talk about, I guess we could talk about their opponents right now because they play Chelsea, who, if there is a bed to be shat in, they shall do it. Up 1-0 early through João Pedro. Of course, VAR has to take a look at this one. He's sliding. I don't know how they think this is going off his hands, but they take forever to do this review. It clearly just goes off his thigh when he's sliding through. Nowhere near an arm or anything like that. It's a good goal. If not, it takes a very long time to do it. Chelsea just has zero killer instinct. They are the least bloodthirsty bunch you'll ever see. Are they too young? Do they just have nobody there to remind them? It's like Chelsea are supposed to be murderers. We shouldn't have any friends. We shouldn't even be friends with each other. They're there to do a job. Just look at John Terry. The guy's a legend, a captain. I think he's a fantastic teammate. I'm sure there's somebody you could ask and say, well, no. Not that great. Not that great of a teammate. You know what I mean? Do I love him? Absolutely. He's a murderer. So many were. But this bunch, they need to do something. Malo Gusto. So there's a time Malo Gusto's leading the line. It's going to cross. Cole Palmer's come into the box. I don't know if Malo Gusto thinks he's in the NBA, but he decides to look off and try a pass across the ball, across the box. It's just knocked out of the way easily. That was Chelsea's game. That and missed opportunities. Liam Delap. Liam Delap's been a failure at Chelsea. To think that there's rumors of teams going, they're going to need themselves a Liam Delap this summer, like Everton. Everton wanting to pay the same £30 million that Chelsea paid for him. You fall over yourself if you're Chelsea to do that. It's like, get rid of the problem. This guy has nothing. He has nothing. Again, no killer instinct. Put him back in Ipswich. Maybe Ipswich will want him again. Oh, they're going to be down. They might be relegated down another notch here yet. We'll see. Yeah, it's a shame. They just need murderers, but to do that, they're gonna have to get veterans, and that's something that's gonna go either A against the wage bill, and they only want to pay. This is also crazy. Chelsea's the youngest team in the league. Their average age here is 23.4 years. I think that's pretty young. You look at Arsenal. Arsenal's average age is 24.7. It's not a huge difference, guys. Uh, and the Arsenal, well, again, they're the fourth youngest. Look how well they're doing. They're doing great. Now, do they have a Tosin? Nope. Well, end of the season, neither shall we. Hope so. Hopefully. So, anyways, back to the game. Wesley Fofana. Wesley Fofana in the 72nd minute he's on a yellow. It tries to nick the ball, gets some of it. Foot comes down, graces the guy's foot. Another yellow card. They just can't. They trip over themselves to try and get a yellow card out of Chelsea guys. He gets the ball. Where else is he supposed to put his foot? He's, not every call and not every foul is a yellow card worthy offense. This wasn't. But he takes it. He gets off. And some goddamn monsters start going after him racially on Instagram afterwards. Some absolute frigging cowards. Dummies. Garbage people. Ridiculous. How many years does it have to say? Like the no room for racism. Like this has been going on and on and on. There's still all these huge effing cowards sitting behind a keyboard right now saying this shit to them. God, I wish they could find them. Oh, they need to go find these guys. This is absolutely stupid and ridiculous. And I feel so bad for Fofana. Was I mad that there's a yellow card there? Yeah. So maybe you didn't have to go in on it, but he does play the ball, which it gets frustrating. It's so frustrating. Anyways, from then on, Chelsea, with their heads in the clouds beforehand, wasting opportunities, go down to 10. Burnley kind of gets their tails up from this, really start to press. Robert Sanchez is awful in this match. The distribution, terrible. Just light kick out passes, poor throws, kicks too far and out. He was awful. I don't know what was in his head. No, it may be in his head, and all of them was that vacation they took midweek to the Emirates. Oh, we got a bit of time, guys. We're allowed to go on a 5-day vacation. This is how the coaching staff was rewarded with that effort. No one on this team better be allowed to take a break, even in the summer. Vacations are off, guys. From now on, you live under the bridge, or you can stay in the summer home over at Craven's Cottage. Belongs to us as well. Might as well use it. You can trash that place if you want. They'll never notice the difference. Not in a million years. Anyways, Zion Fleming's going to score up from a set piece, the corner. Chelsea just terrible at defending him. And to his credit afterwards, Liam Rossinier didn't do what all the other coaches have done in this blue coat era at Chelsea, where it's like, oh, the guys gave it their all and stuff like that. It's like, all he said was he didn't want to throw other coaches under the bus. He says he thinks he knows what's going on and what he has to do. That's it. He never praised the players for an effort that wasn't there. Because there was no effort. It was laziness, shockingly lazy, this entire match by Chelsea. Burnley deserved the point just for the last 20 minutes. Or Chelsea. But, Chelsea should have had this thing in the bag. It should have been 4-5-0. There, especially the first half, get 3 or 4 across. And I don't know what it's going to take for these guys to wake up to this fact that they've just been so trash. Like, when's the pride going to happen? When do they start thinking This isn't a kid's game anymore. We're paid an awful lot of money. Just go do your job. When you're there, it's a job. You're very good at it. You're very skilled. Just go do your job. Get down the pitch. Listen to your coaches. Get the damn ball on net. See what happens. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Too many points dropped. I believe it's 19 points dropped from winning positions for Chelsea, and 17 of those points came at home. At Stamford Bridge? Remember Mourinho? We didn't lose. We never lost ever. Well, we lost eventually, but I still think the record for the longest win streak in the league might be a Chelsea Football Club at Stamford Bridge. Frustrating. A frustrating week, and it's not going to get much better for Chelsea coming up because you didn't want to put in the effort against Burnley. Well, we'll see what happens this coming weekend. Okay, let's go on to some other things. So, while Chelsea was pissing away 3 points against Burnley, we'll come to Monday, and the team they're directly chasing throughout all of this, Manchester United, involved in a match over at Pickle Dickelson Stadium there. I think you're just going to take advantage of some of the other schmucks around them, dropping some points. United are going to start trying to cement their way into a Champions League spot, which comes out of nowhere. Like Michael Carey. I wonder if United board just thinks they're so smart and they don't offer this position to Carrick after what he's been able to do with the squad. Bush is basically just let Bruno Fernandes be Bruno Fernandes. You know what I mean? And also, how funny is it to watch Harry Maguire run up the pitch with the ball at his feet? That man is an awkward-looking footballer, but you know what? The people love him for some reason. I don't know what the people at United do, to tell you the truth. Mateus Cunha is going to be the one who assists on Benjamin Sesko's goal. But, let's say this. I think his mommy should maybe put him in timeout because he makes a play. There's a play coming on. It's towards the end of the game. He gets subbed off, I believe, with like 4 minutes left. And his last action is a ball coming through the box and him blocking out a player. I'm pretty sure the ball has gone off him and it should have been a corner, but no, it's ruled goal kick. He sits on the ground, looks directly at the guy and screams like woo in his face, a lousy hand, and he's so excited. It's like this is United winning the league. It's winning a match 27. Matchweek 27 late against Everton, for God's sakes. Now I understand Everton, United, not the best of pals. You know what I mean? But yeah, just that woo thing, and yeah. I can't remember who was standing over him for Everton, but you got to give this guy a ton of credit for just not slapping the kid's face, because I would have been enraged by that and teach him a valuable lesson. You know. It's a 3-game ban, but you know, lesson learned for some people. Probably not so bad, and that's what you get a union rep or something like that. See what you can do about it. Anyways, terrible sportsmanship. Cunha, £62.5 million. Was it from Wolves? Yeah, it's 8 goal involvements for him for that. So, each of those worth £8 million so far. Good for you, but good for United on the whole, who sit in 4th place. How close are they going to get to Villa? Well, I mentioned people dropping points. Villa can feel United's hot, possibly sour-smelling breath on their backs of their neck now, for goodness sakes. They need an 88th minute equalizer from sub Tammy Abraham, his first PL goal since the 2021 season. which I believe he was wearing a much nicer shirt at the time. I'm just going to say. Anyways, that's going to level it. Absolute beauty of a first half free kick by Anton Stack. A lovely curling strike. Emi Martinez had no chance to get it. Would have been a fine winner. But when it comes to Villa versus Leeds, does there deserve to be a winner? No. This is going to end in a draw. Should have ended in a dual loss. Somehow this has not been figured out by the Premier League. I wish that they'd be able to do it at some point here. Just say these two, just by reputation, don't deserve a single point apiece for a mess like this. So, Villa, now we're just 3 points up on United. That's getting a little tricky. On the, I believe they're 5 points up from Chelsea, who are in fifth, and 10th points back of Arsenal, who I don't believe they have a hope in hell of catching. Leeds in 15th. Which, you see them moving past Spurs. But I believe I said Leeds were going to stay up this year. I also thought, of course, that Sunderland would drop down. You know what I mean? I'm not very good at prognosticating, but if Leeds stay up, I was going to say, I picked it. One of the only things I ever pick right, it seems, wait for the sleeper stuff. The sleeper stuff. Okay, moving on to Brentford. Another West London club. Sort of. Brentford and their glorious, 14,000 seat stadium. There's more folks over at the CFL games and, Montreal, for God's sakes, which isn't great. There should be more folks there. But anyways, Brentford, and as well as you can see them playing, they're in the top 10. They're trying to find a way into a European spot. They've got Igor Thiago there, and who's looked so good all year, but they play at home and look like trash. I think this was a thing last year as well, where Brentford just weren't very good at home at all. So they're going to lose a little ground on the top 5 here. Diego Gomez and Danny Welbeck each going to score in the first half. Danny Welbeck's goal, yeah, he's going to send a cake over to Nathan Collins' place because it's a absolutely brutal clearance in front of his goal that Welbeck just takes directly from him to score. One of the easier goals he'll have in his miles-long career, but not as miles-long as a teammate of his. James Milner becomes the all-time appearance leader in the Premier League with his 654th. One thing I gotta say is, why give it to him at G-Tech Community Stadium in front of 14,000 people? We could have just waited a week, And they gave him the start. They didn't want to waste any time. It's as soon as this game starts, you're gonna get that record there, buddy. Why not just wait? Have it at the Amex. Isn't now they're gonna do a pre-ceremony thing, and then by the time the whistle drops, so does all the emotion from it. Can you imagine just the rumors here comes Milner? They blew it, but that's why Brighton is who they are. Brighton blows things, guys. You know what I mean? And that's opportunities, by the way, if you didn't know what I mean. Okay, speaking of teams that blow, West Ham. And taking on Bournemouth, they both showed up and collected a paycheck. A 0-0 draw means I don't get to talk about these two yahoos. Now, West Ham still get a point out of that, so they're going to actually manage to gain a little bit on Spurs there. Forest also not out of the woods, if you will, but we'll talk about them in a sec. But of course, West Ham still in danger. They're in 18th. Bournemouth are sitting 8th. So yeah, good for them considering the massacres that have happened to their lineups. Now, City taking on Newcastle, a big matchup for the citizens at home. The Etihad, they're going to manage to hold on versus Newcastle thanks to a first half brace by Nico O'Reilly. Of all people, I don't think many people would have had that in their predictions leading up to the match. That sandwich to Lewis Hall goal. It's his first of the season for Mr. Hall. It's a nice thing to have. It doesn't give you 3 points at all. There's a little bit of controversy in this. Maybe a little more fun controversy than anything else. 42nd minute, there is a free kick coming in. But before it's actually taken, it's like Centro Tonelli going to take it. Ruben Diaz has pushed Dan Burn. Now, Dan Burn is going to head this thing in. When Ruben Diaz pushed him, it meant that Dan Burn was offside. As the ball hadn't been kicked yet, turns out Ruben Diaz is free to do so. You can go right ahead. I guess VAR can't go in to call it a red card worthy offense. Looked like he pushed him in while he was in the box, but the ball hadn't been kicked yet. It's a very strange rule. I don't know. Eddie Howe was unsure what to think of it. I believe as he was being interviewed afterwards, I don't think he saw it. He just knew that Dan Burn was offside, and that was it. And it's Newcastle, so it's not like I'm going to go, what is Eddie Howe's innermost thoughts about what happened doing this ridiculous thing here. Now, I would just like to say, I'd like to give a little shout out to your boy, Jazz. All right, thank you. Well, I don't even know how to say that. I'm not too great with that, McKay something. Thanks, McKay. Hi, Jazz. Here's your shout out here, buddy. Now, back to this. Little Newcastle notes here. Nick Walnemade looks like he's on the outs already. He's a big guy. It looks like the prototype kind of forward for Eddie Howe coming in, but he hasn't seen a way to actually get him involved correctly, I don't think. Just coming in off the heels of Isak, that same kind of style. Of course, Isak, I guess, more fluid, possibly with the ball, a little more seasoned in front of goal, not so afraid. They're already talking about taking him out. So I guess he played more of a 10 in this one, a roving kind of 10, because they put Anthony Gordon in the 9. Anthony Gordon, he of one goal from open play in the last year. That's who Newcastle's stressing. When we say Newcastle are all over the place, it's because sometimes they make bonkers decisions, just in their lineups. Like, just keep. What are you going to do with Walter if you don't keep playing him where you should be playing? I don't know. Anyways, I've heard rumors of a swap between Chelsea and Newcastle. Nico Jackson, who's got to come back from Bayern because there's no way he's going to have the minutes. I think he's already past the point where he has to come back. He can't make up the minutes now for Walter. When I take him at Chelsea, he kind of looks too much like Liam Delap to me. So I don't know how well he'd actually do. I do like the wing singer or whatever that he does. So that's kind of fun. All right, that's it. City, 5 back of Arsenal, of course, have that game in hand. And then Newcastle are going to sit in 11th. I don't think Newcastle gets extra football this year. I think they're going to settle back into being Newcastle. Of course, I think they made a late charge last season, but I just don't see it happening this year, guys. It's over. It's over. The run. But Eddie Howe's going to keep his job. Anybody who thinks that Eddie Howe deserves to be replaced in Newcastle's bonkers. All right, Palace. My buddy Ryan Christensen has decided that Crystal Palace is his favorite club, the Eagles. Boy, he's about to find out. He got there on the up, and here comes reality crashing down quick. But they got a match against Wolves here. Now, as we found out midweek, it's not always a bed of roses going up against the Wolverhampton Wanderers. In this case, Palace needed a 90th minute goal by Evan Gassard to beat a 10-man Wolves squad at home at Selhurst Park. Now, this is amid all kinds of rumors about Ollie Glasner's direct future with the club. We already know he's going to be dropping out of the coaching ranks, at least at Palace, when the season is finished. He's done a fantastic job, a better job than maybe almost every other Palace manager has ever done. It's gotten them a couple of trophies, their first ever FA Cup. No, nothing to sneeze at about that if you're Palace. The rumor has it, with Gareth Southgate coming back to the Selhurst Park, this time to manage. Of course, he played there. I forget how many seasons he was there. 4 seasons, 5 seasons, something like that. Maybe a bit more. Anyways, all this to say, back to the game. Tolu Arokodere has a penalty in the 43rd minute and makes an absolute mess of it. Dean Henderson easily knows, he's figured him out, knows where that ball is going to go. Gets there pretty simply. Nice save. Now, late on, there's going to be a garbage second yellow issued to Ladislav Krejci. Ball's coming down the sideline. It looks like maybe it must have been one of the touchline official has ruled it out. Nobody blows the whistle. Ball comes down towards the corner. When the whistle's finally gone, Krejci kicks it back to the spot where the whistle should have taken place at. For some reason, the ref decides to run up, Thomas Kirk decides to run up with another yellow and a red and get all belligerent about it. It's an awful call. Much like that Declan Rice one. Was that against Wolves too? I can't remember who that was against. That happened, I believe, last year, where he nudged the ball and stuff like that and then gets kicked in the shins and goes down, but he gets a second yellow. A lot like that one. It's just a poor call. Anyways, Palace are going to score that 90th minute one or whatever to seal it away. But Wolves have some fight. I think they're on 10 points. So they're not going to be the worst club ever. Derby County, we're still looking at you. It hasn't been terrific, and considering what's gone on with them and having so many players leave and just the absolute apathy and lack of care by the board in Wolverhampton is upsetting. I'm sure for their fans, Molyneux, elsewhere, probably no one cares. Because no one cares. They're going to go down. Someone's going to come up. Maybe they'll spring. Maybe this is what they need. Maybe they need to drop down to the championship, see if they can win a trophy, bounce back, get back in there. They have to do a lot more in sales, though. They got players to sell. They have talented players. I just don't. It's baffling. Even still through 27 weeks, I just don't get it. Anyways, Sunderland taking on Fulham. The good old Stadium of Light. I think the floor may have dropped out from Sunderland, who at one time was top 3. Was they top 2 can't remember. It was them and Arsenal for a little bit. Anyways, they're going to take a 3-1 beating here by the Cottagers. Raul Jimenez gets a second half brace. Of course, he's going to score from the spot. That's what he does. He doesn't miss. And they're going to, Sunderland's going to score on a penalty at their own through Enzo Lefebvre. And then, his is an absolute rocket to the top corner. And that's, no, nothing cute about it. There's all power. And then Alex Iwobi is going to get one. In the 85th minute, a little bit of insurance. Insurance for Fulham, who seal it after that to climb into the top 10. Yet again, Fulham likes to flirt with the top 10 spot. Lately seems when I don't like it. I believe I said on this program more than once. Fulham's spot is like 13th. Never enough to qualify for anything. And just not really in danger of ever going down, which is important because Chelsea like to take points from them. Now, did that happen this year? Well, we've dropped points to lesser clubs than them. I can tell you that. Anyways, Sunderland fall now into 12th spot. Leeds might catch these guys of all things. Just crazy. Forest and Liverpool, last one we have to talk about. Now, I didn't think I'd have to talk about this game at all. Things, again, happening late at City Ground. 90th minute, and there's a clearing attempt by Ole Aina. It's going to go off of Alex McAllister and in. I'm upset. I do have to talk about this. But wait. VAR is going to check in. And, there's a whole 5-minute thing of them celebrating this goal. It's like they just won the league again. Getting one goal against Forest of all teams. No, it turns out VAR, when Aina cleared it, it goes off of McAllister's elbow and as even if it is just a accidental handball, it goes in directly from that. Goal can't be counted. It's taken off the board. We're gonna keep going. Now they've added all kinds of extra time because of all the hooting and hollering and VAR checking going on through that wall. So 7 minutes later, the ball comes in to the box. Virgil van Dijk, I believe, heads it. Stefan Ortega, which is weird to say in the Forest net, is going to make a save. McAllister is going to run in and knock the bloody thing home to us. It's like, had that one taken back. You had a winner. So he's going to score another winner. I'm going to wait for another 15 minutes worth of celebrating. No, there's nothing like that this time. But VAR says, wait. We got to check this again. This one doesn't take as long because of the semi-automatic offside rules that they have now. Turns out Virgil van Dijk was onside by a toenail. A toenail. Just the way they want VAR to work. You know what I mean? Everything has to be the fractionist of the fractions in today's modern football. Now, I don't mind VAR. I don't mind it. They're just doing it wrong. It's supposed to be a clear and obvious error. If you have to slow things down and do things to within a toenail, it's not a clear and obvious error. It could be an error, but it's not a clear and obvious one. You have to do everything just at regular speed. You can show different angles if you want, but as long as it's at regular speed, there should never be slow motion replay for a VAR look. This whole body thing or whatever where they have like the elbow was in front and stuff like that. It's like when it comes down to that, it's like, we can't say that's a clear and obvious error. It's a little ridiculous that they have been. So that's it. That's what happened in Matchweek 27, guys. Wow. Sometimes I cried. Sometimes I yelled. Did I cry myself to sleep like a little girl? Yes, I did. But I didn't pee the bed because I'm a big grown up. So thank you very much for that. Now we have a little thing on the sleeper app between Ferris, Adelia, and I. Neither of which could make it to the program today. Both of which might be seeing this and about to steal all my ridiculously good and probably perfect sleeper picks this week because last out for this past match week, not so great. Not so great, everybody. Only got 3 right, but so did Ferris and Adelia. And turns out my goals scored was the closest of anybody, so I got considered the first place. Probably the greatest week champion Sleeper's ever seen, at least in my view, my point of view. Okay, so I have to go and pick a new pick'em thing for match week 28. Problem is, right now, me trying to get into my pick'em thing and it not working. So I'm going to close this off. Hope everybody's having a great time watching Rob struggle with technology. Here we go. All I had to do was click it off, click it on. Look how smart I am. Guys, I didn't get these gray hairs in my head from being super old and dumb. You know what I mean? I can't think of why else I would have them though. Okay, first off, first match. Coming in here, match week 28. It's a Friday match. Why did they do this? Ridiculous. But if you're going to have a Friday match where no one's really going to pay too much attention to it, Wolves and Villa are the way to go. It's at the Molineux. But Villa needed this trip. Try and get back on track. They've been a not a terrific club as of late. They're going to beat Wolves, I would think, handily. I'm picking them. Bournemouth and Sunderland. Set Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth. It's a home. I do not like picking against the home teams, except for I just did against Wolves, but that's Wolves. Sunderland have been struggling. I'm going to pick Bournemouth. So this one's dying for a tie, though. Do I just take the draw? I'm going to take the draw. I'm going to do it. Especially because I looked at the next one and it's like, I can't say that I'm going to pick home teams all the time. We got Burnley. We got Brentford. This is what Brentford needs to shake off a pretty listless effort at their own stadium. They can go over to the Turf Moor, beat Burnley, take the 3 points that Chelsea couldn't take. You know what I mean? They're going to go and avenge West London for whatever reason. Now, classic matchup here. Liverpool, West Ham, over at Anfield. I don't want Liverpool to get points, but I hate West Ham. So what do? It's always a struggle. I pick Liverpool now because I want to get one right in the sleeper. Who knows how many more I'll get. So there's that. Newcastle and Everton here. Coming up next is at St. James Park. Newcastle, you never know what you're going to get. Everton looked okay against United. They just couldn't score, which is something that goes back a couple years for them, but they've been a little bit better this season. This is a draw. I can't see a winner. I can't see anybody caring enough to score this one. Leeds and City next. This is at Bell End Stadium. Bell End Road, I guess you should say. I just like to call them Bell Ends a lot. City, they're going to take this one on the road. Shouldn't have too much problem doing it. Over at the Amex, could have done Milner here against Forest. Brighton's going to take the 3 points, I believe. Forest were fine against Liverpool, but again, they might be circling the drain here, which is a damn shame for them. But what are they going to do? Fire another manager? That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. Oh yeah, and there's something else. Like about the Chelsea match, I didn't even mention. One more red card by Chelsea in the next 11 games, and they'll set a record for most red cards in a Premier League season. Oh, the things we aspire to do as a fan of Chelsea Football Club. Anyways, over at the Cottage, Fulham, Tottenham, hate them both. I hate them both so much. Um, I remember saying things about how I wish that two teams could just lose. Well, if you ever just wish for an earthquake to happen in one specific spot, got to do something about this one. I guess I'm going to pick a draw because I just can't even spit it out of my mouth to pick either one of them for more points than that. Next, United, Palace, Old Trafford. I'm going to pick United again, and they're going to continue their run, improbable run, to get rid of a guy who maybe just doesn't understand English football all that well. Of course, they have a chairman or part chairman in there that has said a few things that makes him and the club look idiotic. Maybe something will be done by the time this match comes around, because I think there's a clause in what the Glazers did where they can bounce this guy. So we'll see. And then, of course, the starting 11 derby. It's not just a London derby anymore. That takes a back seat. Chelsea go into the Emirates Stadium. I'm going to have to say that they win. What am I going to do? Pick a draw? Lame. There's no way I'm going to pick goddamn Arsenal to win this. Ridiculous. Wouldn't it be fun if Chelsea could drive the stake through their North London hearts? Well, we kind of did to their neighbors a few years ago. Leicester, we're still waiting on that statue, by the way, of Eden Hazard. Now, one thing I got to do before I forget, just add a total goals in here. Done. I'm not going to say that because, I don't want people to prices right me on the, the dealing affairs. So watching this thing, it's like rubbing their hands. How are we going to possibly defeat Rob and his good looks and, it's super smart prognosticating when it comes to the Premier League. I don't know if there's a way, but they're not going to get it through the goal score thing unless they just guess really good. Now, thank everybody for watching Starting 11. Coming up this week, over we have a sister. As you're tuned in here to the good friends at Better Rival Channel, we got a sister channel. It's called the Post Credits. I got a couple shows over there. Tell you the truth. They're called the Rewatchers Council. Thursdays I go live at 5 o'clock Central Time, the smartest Central Time by a mile. We got Buffy coming up on Thursday. A pretty big episode. I Was Made to Love You is coming up on that one. And then Friday, I'll be back with the Angel version of Rewatchers Council. We got somebody here saying, well, thank you very much, Karsten Nicholson. Karsten Nicholson, if you're subscribing, might as well listen to me say. But Angel is the other show we do on Fridays. Again, 5 o'clock Central Time, the handsomest standard time you can ever hope to imagine. We'll be talking Epiphany in that one. Epiphany somewhere. Maybe the Angel program gets back on track. I really like that episode. It'll be live Friday. Now, I've got more post whistle coming very soon after the Olympics. Some people around here were very happy with the way things went with that. Some people just thought of this entire weekend as a gut punch, except for the Canadian men won the curling championship, which is also a bigger deal than hockey is by a huge amount. But We got post whistle our hockey podcast coming back probably in a couple weeks. We got the it's only a week and a half until the trade deadline in the NHL, so we're gonna let things ride out. I think until then, do a whole trade deadline wrap up, see where the teams are as they now would go into the stretch run, and they play like every second day. Nobody, this is a race now for the NHL playoffs, and one with the Winnipeg Jets, I'm sure will be having a Coke by the side of the road, watching folks. You know what I mean? Okay, guys. Thank you again so much. And I've been on the ones and twos a couple of times. Pretty sure I can figure things out. So I'll say on behalf of the entire the networks, our missing compadres. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and we hope to see you again next time.